Jesus' crucifixion is a metaphor for the process of ego death.
It's actually a metaphor for ego death. I'm going to explain. The first half of our lives is generally driven by ego desires, asserting who we believe ourselves to be. This stage is crucial to being a functioning human in the world. The problem is that most Western societies have elevated this half of life to be the whole of our lives. We so value ego, competition, and success that anything that pulls us away from these and that drives is often demonized. I've been saying that people are out here so focused on, they generational wealth and being successful and being looked at as a certain way in society. The second half of life, according to Ra, is where true inner kenosis happens for many people. It's a process of understanding and appreciating our egoic identity, but not fundamentally identifying with it. Because at this stage, we begin to recognize that us being teachers, I'm a doctor, I'm a football player, I'm, a business. We recognize that our identities and accomplishments alone do not actually have the power to fulfill us. And we begin to lean into those things that do. This is a very real and painful dying process. So basically what is being said here is, what are you? What are you without that degree? What are you without having that status of being a quarterback or NFL player or a basketball player or a CEO, or a business owner? What else defines you other than that? So he is stating that this process, the dying of the ego, this is very real and very painful dying process. This is where the narrative of Jesus is so psychologically and spiritually helpful. The suffering, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus is a profound metaphor for this process of ego death. As Jesus is arrested, tried, tortured, and murdered, we get a sense of what a painful process it can be to willingly enter the process of maturity and spiritual evolution. Oftentimes, these processes don't occur willfully. Instead, we are thrust into painful moments of crisis and failure where we must reckon with what is truly real and what is most meaningful to us. Okay? Now, I told y'all come to my page, man. You come to my page, you'll learn something. You'll learn something. Because a lot of y'all, y'all having a hard time with allowing that ego part of you to die. I don't know how many times I've had conversations with family members, friends, and everything, and people get mad. They get mad. Hey, I don't want to hear that. I don't want stuff in my head. I don't want my faith to be changed. I don't want nothing to make me question my beliefs and all of this other stuff. But you don't even realize that ain't your faith talking. That's your ego. That's your ego talking. And until you allow that ego to die, until you allow yourself to be open, fully open, you know what I'm saying, to accept the truth. And a lot of y'all don't want to know the truth. And that's the weird part. That's the weird part. Like, you don't want to know the truth. You just want to live within this ideology that you've created or been brainwashed to believe within your head. You really don't want the truth. And when the truth is brought to you, you can't even discern whether it's real or not. And you completely shut down anything that makes you question what you already believe. The crucifixion of Jesus Christ is actually a metaphor. It is not literal. It is not literal. A person did not die on the cross to save you from this eternal damnation of just burning up in hell forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Like, logically, that makes absolutely no goddamn sense. I mean, really sit down and think about it. Like, even the miracles in the Bible that Jesus did, it is not literal. And we don't understand how they talked back then. We don't understand their slang terms and words. Like, if you say today, write on a piece of paper, man, it's costing an arm and a leg just to pay rent. Somebody come across that 2,000, 3,000 years later and they don't speak or have the type of intellect that we have, they're literally going to think that people out there was getting their arms chopped off. It's costing an arm and a leg, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have a place to live. Like, people might actually believe that. And y'all don't understand, like, y'all are those people. You're taking exactly this context exactly for what it is, and that's not what it means. You know, you're actually doing the opposite of what Christ's teachings actually are. It's about allowing that ego part of you to die. You think that you're standing firm when somebody brings you some information like, no, I'm not going to let it deter my faith because my faith is strong and I'm going to show the Almighty that. You don't understand. That is your ego. That is not your faith. Your ego is keeping you from learning. Your ego is causing you to debate with people when people are bringing you information. You know, you're choosing to refuse it. And guess what that does? It keeps you stuck. And as long as you stay stuck and as long as you keep that certain type of ideology, within the next 20 to 30 years, you will still be within the same place within your faith. You're going to be in the same place. I mean, you may build a more of an entitlement type of a complex. Like, how can a person, and I used to always ask it, like, how can a person lift themselves on a higher, more spiritual, more enlightened level? A lot of y'all is tricking and fooling yourselves into believing that. Believing that you on a higher, more spiritual level, and that's all that is just your delusions that you living, that you living in. Because it's like you're not even allowing yourself to learn anything. I've always known, you know, and I've been finding and researching information for the last couple of years. I've been working on elevating myself spiritually, and I want to know the truth.